button isn't working. It's not even doing it. So take a look at this, the way that we have it, right? And then look at how your book would have you do it. So that's the way that Jim Hannon's way. This is the way that the textbook has it. Which one do you think is clearer and easier for you guys to kind of wrap your head around? Yeah. Look at these crazy limits, right? It's totally insane. So that's why Jim Hannon won the argument eventually, because it just makes a lot more sense. So the textbook is not always correct. That's what I would say. All right, so now we're going to move on to outliers. An outlier is an extremely high or low value when compared with the rest of the data values. So if you take a look over here, the data value 16 it's really far away from the rest of the other values, right? The rest of them are around 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, but then it jumps really far away to 16. So 16 is an outlier. Good? Everyone kind of on board with that? We're going to talk more about those in chapter 3, but I wanted to expose you guys to them now. And now we're going to talk about histograms. Histogram is a graph that displays data by using vertical bars of various heights to represent the frequencies of the classes. So here's the thing about histograms. There's a lot of different ways of doing histograms. People have different things along the bottom, but what's consistent is always the heights represent the frequencies. Good? So your heights are always going to be your frequencies. Along the bottom, you can either use class boundaries or you can use class limits, either one. There's a variety of other things people use, but those are kind of the more common ones. Here's an example. All right, this is discrete, so there aren't any boundaries, but so like how many people had 0 siblings? 6 people. The frequency tells you, the height tells you how many. How many people had 3 siblings? 2 people. Now, if I wanted to, okay, and then please note that these don't touch, right? Do you see how the bars don't touch each other? Because here's 2, there's 3, right? They're separate. Now, if I decided to use boundaries, then it would look like this, and they would touch. I'd go from 0, negative 0.5 to 0.5. So 0 is between negative 0.5 and 0.5. 1 is between 0.5 and 1.5. 2 is between 1.5 and 2.5. Right? So then it would be like that. Do you guys kind of see the difference? Yeah. So if you use boundaries, then you're going to have these, it goes all the way from here to here, from boundary to boundary, and they would touch. You can do it either way, I don't care. But if you're going to use limits, then they would be like this and they wouldn't touch each other. Does that kind of make sense? And if you use boundaries, then this spot is simultaneously, it's 0.5. So it's his upper boundary and his lower boundary. So that's kind of the difference. I like boundaries because I'm lazy, so I have less to write. I only have to write each boundary once. Versus the limits, you have to write more stuff. Like here, if I do, yeah, I'll show you in a minute, actually. Here's my example. This is my one from my example earlier. So if we look at this, this is how it would go. And you'll see here are the boundaries along the bottom. So this class here is 100 degrees to 104 degrees. But it goes, if I use boundaries, it goes from 99.5 to 104.5. This class is 105 to 109. But if I use the boundaries, it goes 104.5 to 109.5. Good? So this is kind of the easiest way to do it. And then the heights are the frequencies. Heights are always the frequencies. Now, if I were to write this with class limits instead, I could, and it would look like this. I'll do a duplicate. it would be from here to there. It would not touch, so this would be 100 to 104. And over here would be 105 to 109. And over here would be the next one. And you'll notice that they don't touch. Do you guys see that's the key thing? So if you're going to use the class limits, that's fine. Yeah, but then you got to write both class limits. It's a little more writing. And they don't touch. This is one group. This is the next one. That's the next one. Good? You see the difference? All right, good. So you guys have 5 minutes. Go ahead and do the next problem down below, which is making a histogram for your data, that you just did. So lab problem 3. Histogram for this data here.